And that's why Brett Goode now joins us to talk a little football this morning. Now, Brett, we got football, we got a bunch of things to discuss, both Arkansas and professionally at the NFL level. Super Bowl. Great game, just like it has been all playoff season long. Now, did it live up to the Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes duel in Arrowhead? Probably not, but you got a young quarterback in Joe Burrow in just his second season taking on a guy in Matthew Stafford that's been in Detroit for quite some time and then finally gets it done in Los Angeles. What do you think the biggest storyline is coming out of the Rams win over the Bengals?
Sean McVay being the youngest head coach winning a Super Bowl, and then you have all the drama outside of that. Is he going to move on to media? Is he going to get out of coaching? Aaron Donald, is he going to retire? And then you have a lot of people that were, just ecstatic and happy for Matthew Stafford and his ability to finally win. He couldn't win for 12 years a playoff game in Detroit, and he goes out to L.A. and wins the Super Bowl. So it was huge on all parts of it. It was a great fought game. On Joe Burrow's side, you're wondering, does he ever make it back? It's so hard to get back to the Super Bowl. And even my buddy Aaron, he's only been to one Super Bowl. Dan Marino, everybody always has thought that they would be back to multiple Super Bowls, and they're not. So one thing for sure is Cincinnati, if they want to get back, they're going to have to do what Kansas City did and kind of beef up that offensive line for them to have an opportunity to get back.
Now, you mentioned that Sean McVay, I don't know if it's a rumor. I don't know if there's truth to it. But, Tommy, I don't know if you saw the stat. Romo's making like $19 million, and I think Sean McVay was making like 7 or 8. Brett, could you actually see in McVay's first ever Super Bowl win? He's been to 2, but he first gets one. I think he's 36 years old. Could you see him jump into the broadcast booth this early in his career?
I think so, especially if the money's there and the opportunity's there. There's rumors of him getting married, wants to spend more time at home, but the toll that coaching takes on your body, especially as a head coach, you're in the building, you're spending long hours there. Now they're getting paid for it, but then you talk on the media side, you're only there. You're 3 days a week where you're traveling, and the other days you're going to be watching film and doing some other bits and ends. But you look at John Madden, and Sean McVay is a teacher of the game, and he's so brilliant and smart about the game that it would be fun to see him come into maybe a Monday night role and be able to kind of teach everybody and keep that. Being able to, just coach the people on football and maybe grow the game a little bit more.
What were your thoughts on that last drive by the Rams and what Stafford accomplished? And I know that the time wasn't the big crunch like we've seen in some of the other games down the stretch in the playoffs, but it was to win the Super Bowl. It kind of break down that drive for us and what you thought as you watched it unfold.
Well, you got to make big plays in the Super Bowl when it comes down to it. We've seen Tom do it for years, and Matt being able to go down there and do that, it was what sealed the game. And them being able to go down and put points on them, put their defense out on the field to really seal it, it was just huge for them. It showed what they've done all season long. They started off the season really hot, and then they kind of had to regroup and figure out themselves. And look, Odell, going down early in the game, they had to change the whole game plan. He was kind of going off, and he started off with the ability to probably take the MVP, and now we know Cooper got it. But it was a great drive, and when it kind of came down to it, and it mattered the most that the Rams pulled through, and that's what got them the Super Bowl.
When you look at the protection for Cincinnati, how do they fix that offensive line? How do they give Joe Burrow more protection next season? Is it personnel? Is it through the draft? What are the big issues as you watch that offensive line that allowed their quarterback to be sacked more times than any other quarterback in the Super Bowl era?
They've got to go free agency, and they're going to have to get some in the draft. They've got to beef it up. They're a really good football team. They've got weapons on the outside. They've got a good running game, and we all know that when they gave Joe time this season, even though he was sacked the most, he was really efficient on his passes and his decision making. And so if they can kind of get that beefed up, and I don't know if it's replace the coach, that's not the answer, but you definitely need personnel in there and get some bigger bodies and some guys with some experience if you can get them through free agency. If not, you've got to really hit it down in the draft.
Talking with Brett Goode, former Razorback, former Packer, Henderson Phillips Employer Solutions this morning. Brett, the tantalizing NFL offseason conversation is going to be surrounding your old buddy Aaron Rodgers. And I've heard him talk about what he wants to do, his body moving forward. I know that it's being reported by, I can't think of Denver's head coach's name off the top, Nathaniel Hackett is telling people he thinks he's going to get Aaron to Denver. We're sitting here on February the 16th. Where's Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback this next season?
That's a tough decision. I know Charles Woodson said it'd be beneficial for the Packers to trade him. If a team was willing to go out there and give a lot of first-round picks, Denver, the rumor is 3 first rounds. It's something that you have to listen to. But for Aaron, his best opportunity over Denver and Green Bay, Green Bay's got a really good chance to make it back to another NFC Championship game with a chance to get to the Super Bowl. But they've got a lot of questions. They've got a bad salary cap right now. They've got a lot of guys on defense that are due. Devontae Adams, they still haven't figured anything out with him, and so they're probably going to franchise tag him to keep him and then try and work on a deal. So it's a really hard situation. And then, the other thing is with Jordan Love, you wasted a first-round draft pick on him. Are you going to be able to get anything if you were to trade him? Because they've got to get rid of one of them. They can't afford to keep both quarterbacks, and I don't know how much trade stock that Jordan Love has because we haven't seen him do anything. And so it's going to be an interesting offseason. I think that we're going to know sooner rather than later on Aaron's decision. I think he wants to play, but I think right now that he's also trying to just kind of regroup. I saw him out there, playing golf, and he got his 4th MVP. And so you're just really just trying to come back and see what's going to happen and kind of let things kind of play out here in the next few weeks.
Brett, we saw a Cincinnati team make the Super Bowl after, I think, 6 wins in 2 years. Parity is the best in the NFL, I think, compared to any other sport. Roger Goodell and his team do an excellent job of making it as equally a playing field as possible. How does that translate to college football? How do we get college football on a more even playing level when we see the same teams in the college football playoff every single year?
That's the toughest part. There's so many more college athletes and college teams, so it's harder to get to that point. The NFL has done such a great job of like you said, creating that through free agency. It's really, that's what's made that sport so popular. I think it was a little over 100 million people that watched the Super Bowl, and that number just kind of continues to grow every year. I think we've talked about 92 out of the top 100 TV shows all of 2021 was NFL. So it is king amongst everything because people just enjoy going and see that where anybody can win at any given week. And look, even the Detroits of the world, they still can compete out there, and they have a chance to win. I think the college game, they're going to have to figure out this NIL and quit getting in bidding wars. They're going to have somebody kind of come in, and if that money continues to grow at universities, you're going to have a little bit probably even spread, probably through the SEC and maybe one other conference, but it's going to be tough to continue that. But I think the NCAA and especially the SEC is trying to get to that point.
You mentioned a moment ago about Aaron winning that MVP. A lot of people have criticized that and said Tom Brady should have won that. I know you're biased. Aaron's your buddy, but was that the right call for Aaron to win the MVP this year over Tom Brady?
It was a tough decision. I know that the people that are voting on that, they've done it for many years. You can argue on both sides. I think even Joe Burrow didn't. I don't even think he got a vote. And I think that was disappointing because he had a great year as well. What they look at with Aaron is, the amount of yards and the touchdowns in his passer rating. And then, you take all that into accommodation, and then you say, well, he also only, threw, I think it was like 4 or 5 interceptions. So it wasn't very many. So particularly when you look at the MVP, when Aaron had COVID and he was missing, I can't remember which game that was that he missed, but the point spread in the game flipped almost 10 points, and that's what that is an MVP, and that's the guy that he changes that so much for the Packers that he means that much to that team, and so it's hard to argue both sides, but then I also get why they chose him for MVP because he is that guy right now.
From a viewership standpoint, which drives everything in sports, from a fan standpoint, try to put into words what the last 3 weeks of the playoff meant, from the Super Bowl and how it was great to the finish, to the divisional and the conference championship games. Maybe it's recency bias from what we just watched, but Brett, it seemed like this was the greatest finish to an NFL season as far as you look at those 3 weeks we've ever seen. What does that do for the league moving forward?
It's huge. I mean, I believe it was the best, 3 weeks of football because you had so many close games come down to the last minute. They are going to, kind of revamp the overtime rules in the playoffs and give both teams a shot, it sounds like. But it's really big because what you're doing is you're attracting that crowd. And, look, everybody wants to see a game. They don't want to see a blowout. And, I think that hurts like in Alabama's viewership over teams where they, they're going out there and they're playing at Vanderbilt and they're going to destroy them. And that's what hurts the first weekend of college football playoffs is that those weekend games are typically not close. And when you turn to the NFL, it's going to be a battle. It's going to come down to, whoever has the ball last when you get it in these powerful quarterbacks' hands and get it to your playmakers. And that's what the NFL fan wants because you're going to go out there and you're going to get to see a really good ball game and you're going to be into it the whole game.
Brett Goode, Henderson Phillips, joins us every Wednesday to talk some football, and we'll be talking spring football soon enough. Brett, right now you're talking with clients and folks that are looking to improve the quality of their health benefits for their group at work.
That's right. We're going through everybody. We're kind of breaking down, making our own individual game plan for each company that we're dealing with, and really just trying to make it, to get the best value for your dollar of being able to attract and retain new employees and keep the ones that you have. And it's a tough market right now, but we're getting all the carriers to kind of compete against themselves so that you're able to get the best rate.
And the other thing, if someone's listening and they say, listen, I just work somewhere, but I do have a home and I've got a car and maybe I need some life insurance for myself, you can take care of insurance needs as well for someone's home, auto, and their personal life insurance.
That's right. We can handle any P&C that we need to do. We also do long-term care, so we can really just get all across the board and take care of you for whatever you need.
All right, so everyone listening needs insurance for something. Give Brett a call, 651-2292. That's his direct number, 479-651-2292 for Brett Goode with Henderson Phillips. Good job, buddy. We'll talk to you next Wednesday.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Good stuff from Brett. As
always. Might be over this season, but basketball is in full steam for both pros and college hoops. For all the latest odds, totals, player performance props, to where the next fired coach is going to land, BetOnline is the #1 spot for all your sports betting needs. Head over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Use our promo code BELIEVE to get started. That's promo code BLEAV. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline is your source for hockey, boxing, and UFC odds, right to the Olympic coverage, is the best in the business. From sports right down to your favorite Vegas casino games, BetOnline is your #1 online wagering destination. BetOnline, the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports and play your favorite games. BetOnline, where the game starts.